Welcome back to Talking Shop with Shop Saber. In this podcast, we like to tackle the CNC industry specifically and really talk a little bit about business in general. Hopefully you'll find some entertainment throughout it and hopefully some education. But the next episode starts right now. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Talking Shop. I am your host, Brandon Bombardo, here with Nick Peters.
How's it going?
Hey, not too bad, man. Each week, we hope to keep you entertained while entertaining ourselves and bringing some light to all things CNC and business. And we're going to kick off episode 154. How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah.
Got rid of the family for the next 2.5 weeks.
Right. Yeah,
So
you're...
kind of fun.
You know, we should tell them what we're going to talk about today, though. So we got current events this week, which is going to be talking about your family going away. And then we got a special guest here today. We're going to talk with a special guest later on. And then my favorite, the internet is broken, followed by questions and comments by you, the customers, and then motivational quote of the week. And then we're going to throw a question back your way before we give you our final thoughts. So now that we've told people what to expect today, tell us about how you got rid of your family.
Sent them on a plane halfway across the world.
Halfway across the world.
Oh,
Where are they
maybe
at?
not halfway. They're in the Netherlands, actually.
They are?
They are.
Man, how long are they in the Netherlands for?
For 17 more days.
17 days?
Not that I'm counting.
Dude, is it too quiet in the house or is it awesome?
I mean, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of nice at night. I can just watch hockey and stuff uninterrupted, stay up as late as I want, or go to bed as early as I want, not have to worry about it. No dishes in the house because I just eat paper plates and throw them away.
I love it.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend, and you had the whole house to yourself.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I should say only Sunday and Monday.
Oh, okay.
They were home Saturday. They didn't leave till Sunday afternoon, but
Okay.
yeah.
So you spent Memorial Day just chilling by yourself. Did you grill by yourself, like cook your own food outside?
No, I cooked for my parents and Natalie and the kids on Saturday.
Okay.
Sunday, took them to the airport and definitely ate out yesterday.
Did you?
And Sunday. Oh, yeah.
Where'd you go?
You're going to hate this answer.
Don't tell me it's Domino's.
No. I almost got it, though.
Oh.
The last 2 nights I had slices of Casey's Pizza from the gas station down the road. Casey's Pizza's so good.
I don't mind Casey's Pizza. That's good.
Yeah.
Don't do Domino's, though.
So that, yeah, just that. No. Bread bowl pasta maybe tonight from Domino's.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Did you go racing?
I did. Yeah, we went racing. Just for the record, brakes are really important in a race car.
I can imagine.
My brake pedal broke off on Saturday while I was racing.
Just once?
I know, twice actually. It's funny that you asked that. Yeah, so brand new race car. We've never had it on the track. Got out there. I lie. We had it on the track the weekend before for practice only. But when you practice a race car, you don't drive it the same as like when you race a race car.
Yeah,
and
because
so
there's nobody for you to run into.
yeah, you're not like chasing anybody. So you're driving a lot less like aggressive. And yeah, so we went out and started last in the heat. And on lap 3, we were up to second. And I was trying to catch the leader and my brake pedal broke off. And I was like, well, this is inconvenient.
So
but
then what happens?
well, I raced the rest of the race without brakes.
How do you do that? That seems impossible.
It's not impossible.
Did you hit anybody?
No, I didn't.
No?
You're very strategic with your moves. You know that you don't have any way to slow down. So you kind of have to drive around them, not, behind them. And so I had to drive the car really different. But yeah, we ended up winning the race. We passed for the lead without brakes. And
You didn't Ricky Stenhouse anybody, did you?
no, didn't have to wreck
good.
anybody. Nothing. It was awesome. And but the problem is when the race is over, you still have to slow down somehow. So like the checkered flag comes out and I'm like, well, what do I do now? So
He finished 15th. You're out there doing 4 victory laps. trying
yeah,
to slow down.
that's what it looks like. Yeah. So I drove around a couple extra laps and the track was yelling at me on my radio, telling me I needed to get off the track. And I was like, I'm trying, trust me. And so finally a guy in a 4-wheeler came up next to the car and I was like, I don't have brakes. And he's like, what? So he looked down in the car. I'm like, I don't know where my brake pedal is. He's like, oh my God. So then he helped me get off the track and he like cleared all the kids, because that's my biggest concern was like pulling off the track. All these kids are running all over the place. Like, I don't want to run somebody over. So he gets everybody out of my way. I get to the pits and there's like a Heim joint that holds the brake assembly together that I broke. And so I replaced the Heim joint, got it all fixed. And I honestly had thought the Heim joint just had malfunctioned. Well, tested it out in the pits. Everything worked fine. I'm like, okay, cool. So we went out for the feature and I started 11th in the feature. And the Heim joint broke again. So we ended up finding out there was a bind in the system from the factory when they designed it. It wasn't on our end, but when it under heavy load, it breaks the Heim off. And so, but the problem was I found that out the second time when I was following 9 other cars, and I crashed right through the back of the guy. Just straight through the back of him because I couldn't stop, and then went up and hit the wall, and yeah, we bent a bunch of stuff. So.
Oh boy.
But hey, the car was fast up until that point.
At least you've done that before, so you know how to fix it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've crashed a car enough. I know how to fix them.
Yeah.
Hey, wasn't there another tornado this weekend, by the way?
There's a few of them.
Yeah. There was one in Iowa.
Down through Iowa again.
Yeah. I know that. So the real reason I know about the one in Iowa is I actually have a buddy that lives down there, and yeah, it actually hit his grandma's house.
That's not good.
Yeah. So he was showing me pictures. He sent me a bunch of photos and stuff. But it's just crazy, this wild weather we've had, man. Like,
it is, yeah.
Mild winter, almost no snow everywhere. Like, I mean, even people in the mountains didn't have much snow for snowmobiling this year. But now it was snowing this last weekend in North Dakota.
It was.
Like, measurable snow.
I actually got pictures from a friend of mine that had their front yard covered in snow in Bismarck.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
horrible. Just
tons of snow up there in May. And then just weather, just severe weather and wet weather and just crazy.
And it's like in the same spots over and over and over every week, it seems like. Yeah.
Dude, it's just nuts.
It hasn't stopped raining here for what, a month?
Dude, I feel like, yeah, it's every Saturday, Sunday for sure. Like, it's just been raining.
I know the river down by my place has been as low as I've seen it in a long, long time, and now it's as high as I've seen it in a long, long time. So it's kind of wild how it's gone from severe drought to now it needs to stop for a while.
Yeah, I drove over that river because I had to go pick up parts for my race car.
Were you going north?
I was
to see all your friends way up north?
No, I was going north. No, I had to go south, way south, you know. But no, I went down there to your town, and yeah, I thought the same thing. I remember the last time I had been down there, the river was like really low. Like, you could see a lot of the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And now, like, yeah, it looked like a full-on river down there again. And there was actually boats. Like, I haven't seen a boat on that river in forever. And yeah, that was crazy. So that was a wild weekend, though.
Sorry to beat that up north with all your friends joking to the ground.
No, I like
it. It's
it.
only been 3 straight weeks.
Why would we give up on something that's so great?
Keep it going, right?
Yeah, we just got to keep going. I'm just glad you've returned to normal color this week.
Oh, yeah. But it went from like sunburn to not even tan now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Your shirt's like the color of your face last week.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's crazy. I personally thought the logo update last week was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Had a lot of
I got to give Rodney
feedback.
props on that one. Yeah, like that was pretty good. Change the logo to your face, being the same color.
I enjoyed it.
So let's talk about our special guest this week.
Hi, Shane.
Hey, guys.
Shane, how you doing, man?
Good.
So introducing Shane to everybody. Shane Glen. He actually works here at Shop Saber. So Shane, thanks for joining us. But he is our CFO, and actually you got a lot of experience. Like, it's not just being a CFO, but like you just everything.
Oh, yeah. I'm a man of the world.
You're a man of the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I mean, avid Chiefs fan,
Absolutely.
right? So, are you from Kansas City?
No,
How did you become a Chiefs fan?
I was a Chiefs fan early on, 5 years old.
Really?
I grew up in Missouri, so
You did?
I was a Chiefs fan very early. So
Got it. Yeah, end up a Chiefs fan in Minnesota. It's not expected.
well, until 4 years ago, we could relate to the Vikings. But
That's true. Till Mahomes came along and you guys just started kicking
very,
everyone's butt.
very, very similar paths. If you look at the history there between the disappointment after disappointment,
Yeah, that's true.
So
Except for
it's not just here?
it is only here now.
that seems fair. That seems fair. The Timberwolves are trying to show us how Minnesota teams always do it. They just dominated all season and then 0-3 in the playoffs now, or in the next round.
They could come back.
You think so?
No, not really.
I don't
There's
think
been
so.
154 series in a row without having a 3-0 team lose.
Oh, really?
Chances are very slim.
If there's a team that could do it, though, I think it's them.
I mean, I don't know enough about basketball, but they seem good.
Every game's been close and competitive, so
Very
it's not like
close,
they've
very
gotten
close.
blown out really.
I watched the last 2 games, last 3 minutes, and in both those games we were leading, and then we just didn't finish it. So it's like,
Yes.
yeah, we were definitely there.
It's depressing.
It stinks. It feels very Minnesota-like.
My son is despondent and very depressed.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I've been here so long and I'm so old I'm used to it. I don't get excited about it anymore.
I'm still upset about it. Curtis is downstairs. Curtis is losing his mind. Just for the record, our HR guy.
Somebody's getting fired today.
Yeah, he's just
because.
losing his mind down there. Like, he walked in and you could tell he's just not in the mood. And I'm like, Timberwolves? And he's like, don't talk about it. And I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good. Talk to you later.
Yeah, he's a diehard, man.
I was like working on trying to get fired for the 5th time in my life here at Shop Saver by just saying Timberwolves to the HR guy.
At least it wouldn't be your dad for once.
Yeah, it would have been the first time I'd not been fired by my father. That would have been That would have been different. No, he's pretty upset about that. But so Shane, let's talk a little bit here. Let's talk about like what ultimately like was Shop Saver, your time here, like what brought you here? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, it's my career has been mostly in investment banking and investments and looking at opportunities where I really felt there was a return on capital or return on investment opportunity. And when I learned about Shop Saver and came in here and saw the products and heard the history and listened to Jim and just how the company got started and where they're at today, I was just blown away. I mean, to see the products, to see what they could do, and the first time I saw the products, I thought of 5 different companies. Just I would like to start just from the capabilities of the products, and so I think there's so much opportunity here going forward as we get the word out and continue to, not only capitalize on what we have, but also improve on what we have and with the new products that we have coming out. So it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about what you said there is it's not just about like what can we do, but like just improving on what we already have. That's the thing that I think that sets Shop Saver apart from so many other companies out there is that a lot of companies kind of just get hung up on well, this is who we are, right? And we're already good, so why make it better, But like we've always been innovators here at Shop Saver, and I think that's the biggest thing about the company is that we've always found a way to like be better than we were before. It's so easy to just say, oh yeah, we're good, but like to challenge yourself to be better continuously. And I think it's across the entire company. Well,
yeah. The other thing that after joining the company, the thing that really impressed me, and my office is close to the customer service department, but hearing the way, we're so dedicated to the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned more almost listening to the customer service department than anything else. And it's amazing how, yes, we do create a great platform, a great product, but we back it up.
Yeah.
And we're there for the customer. And you can't say that probably with, a lot of products that are out there,
right?
Ours or otherwise. So I think that's one of the things that's been, the most impressive, most exciting thing that I've seen, other than, of course, being invited to Talkin Shop with Shop Saver, of course.
I love it. Honestly, we're excited to have you here because I know it actually was kind of, we were in a meeting, we were in a meeting last week, just, doing some stuff with Shop Saver's future stuff and planning. And you and I were just talking and it just kind of came up and it was like, I was talking about the podcast and you're like, I want to be on. And I'm like, next week you're on. Like, that's how easy it was. Like it was fun. Like to be able to just take the idea of like, hey, how do we bring this to life? And here we are a week later.
Well, yeah. Now I get to tell my kids I want a podcast. Yeah, so this is perfect.
Yeah. Hopefully now your kids will tell all their friends. We'll get lots more views.
Yes, I'm sure.
It'll be great. No, but I mean, honestly, like when you started to, say a lot of like you said, backing things up, especially in today's world, it's something that Nick and I have talked about a lot. And actually last week we talked about, tech support is actually what last week's episode was about. And we tried to really talk about the difference between like, every company out there offers some form of tech support, right? Everybody's like, oh yeah, we offer support too. But like the difference in tech support from a quality tech support versus just saying you're quality tech support and not really delivering. Like it seems like in today's world, more companies than not are on that side of the spectrum nowadays. Like everybody's going to tell you how great they are, but then once you own their product, and it's sometimes just as simple as something you go buy at Target. And it's like the hype is there. Then you get it and it's just a complete letdown. And it's like the company doesn't back it and the product doesn't work the way you thought it would. And it's just like, it seems like there's a lot of hype sales nowadays where people get you really excited about it just to get you in the door. And then once they got you in the door, they don't really care. Retention isn't what companies are looking for in today's world. And it's like, I feel like we're one of the few companies that still exist like, hey, we want you to come back again. Like we want you to be a lifelong customer. And we focus more on that than we do on the hype side of things.
Well, yeah, and it seems to me it's not necessarily things around what we do is not fixing problems necessarily. It's helping customers learn how to do things even better or beyond what they're already doing. So we certainly do, we do the little things and we do if and when we do have an issue, we obviously resolve that. But it goes beyond that, which I think is very rare when you see customer support in various industries.
I agree with that. Yeah. I love that. Like, man, we need to have Shane on this thing more. He's hitting all the points.
Heck yeah.
But he makes a good point there. It's not just the support side of things, but it's the helping you learn to do something. Like, my favorite comment you made was What about, or when you saw it, you said you thought of 5 companies you wanted to start. And it just like, it instantly made me think of like, yeah, Jim's wife too. She never got her arts and crafts business going because of, this thing took off the way it did. But it's like, it's exactly that. Like everywhere you look, there's something you can make with a machine. And like, I think that's the part that excites me the most is like when I talk to my friends and, when you meet people and you're like, they ask you what you do. And I'm like, oh yeah, we build CNC machines. And my favorite is when people are like,
what's that?
Well, how many, or they'll say that, like, what's that? Or they'll be like, well, how many people need a CNC machine? Like they think like the industry is capped, right? Like you're going to sell them all. And then what are you going to do in a year? And it's like, no, like literally anything you do in the world goes through a CNC machine somewhere. Like it seems like there's very few products out there nowadays that don't have some form of automation associated with them.
That was the same question I asked you shortly after I started.
Right.
I was like, how do you sell this many of these things in a month? Like it seems like at some point you're going to run out of people, right? But then you're like, well, no, everybody. And then once you learn more about it, it's like, yeah, everybody can use one of these to do something to help their business. So you're like, oh yeah, there's a zillion businesses out there that still are doing it by hand and not doing any automation that obviously are still going to need machines at some point when they make that decision, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you think about the cabinetry industry alone. Like I always kind of joke about that with people because there's so many industries you can jump into, but the cabinetry industry is something everybody can relate to because everybody's been into some sort of a hotel, a store, their house. They got a cabinet somewhere, and it's like you start to just think about the places you've seen a cabinet, and all of these applications and like remodeling and building, new construction, and it's like that's an endless business in itself. And then you start to add, and that's just cabinets, and then you start adding in doors and drawers and closets, and it's just like now the moldings in your rooms, and it's like suddenly you start to like unpack all the woodworking and all the businesses that are required to do that. And suddenly it's like, yeah, no, you're never going to hit 100%, you're going to have always a new customer coming on board. And then by the time you do get like 10 years down the road, the person that bought the first machine 10 years ago is either looking for another one or they're upgrading to the new model. So it's like the industry's there. It's just about finding that, next thing that you want to do with it, right? I mean, maybe you're not a cabinet maker. Maybe you're into signs or you're into making arts and crafts or, what, like the Etsy thing, like when Etsy blew up, how many people started building those like live, love, laugh signs, right? Everybody's seen those. I mean,
Right.
pretty sure I have 4 of them in my house, but yeah, it's like those things or the infinity signs when those became a big thing or like, we went through a phase in my life where I was making, the established signs. Do you remember those? Like where it says like Bombardo established and it was the year they got married. Yeah.
Sure.
I went through a phase where I think my wife had me make 64 of those, because every wedding we went to, we could give them this as a gift. Really? Another one? Like, great. I get to make the Smiths established in 2011, 12, 13, and 14. Sweet.
But at least once you have it done once, all you got to do is go back and change the name and the wording, right?
That's what we did. Exactly. But it's just like, I didn't want to have to like it was just like at that point it's so repetitive. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm over this. Like we're not making money doing this. We're giving these things away. If I was making money, I'd probably be more excited about it. But I was just like, I don't want to go paint another Smith established 2011 sign. Like I'm done.
You save money.
That's true.
You don't have to buy a gift.
That's what she said. Said the same thing. I'm like, just go buy the gift. Save me the time. I got race cars to fix. They don't got brake pedals. I'm like, come on now. But yeah, so no, that's cool. I mean, I appreciate you sharing some of that. And obviously, as you look at the industry, obviously you've learned a lot about the industry over the years, and obviously we acquired Langmuir Systems, a little over a year ago. Kind of what do you see like when you look at like what you've seen in the little time you've obviously already been here? Like how what do you see? What excites you about this entire like industry?
Yeah, I mean, what really got me in the door and initially impressed me was the execution. Both at Langmuir and as well as Shop Sabre, and how well historically the companies have combined of how they performed.
Yeah.
And getting in here and talking with folks like you and Jim and even doing some research and talking to people in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this seems to be really early stages.
Yeah.
So this is not a industry that is going to be mature, I believe, anytime soon.
I agree.
And again, as I mentioned earlier, that's just with what we have today.
Right.
And as you know, we have lots of exciting things planned.
Yeah.
And I think each one of those products or platforms, potentially opens up a whole new opportunity of what we've seen historically with our performance. So
Right.
I think that so it's the it's the validation that we've seen with the performance and how well the companies and the brands have done.
Yep.
And it's the the white space and the open fields I think we have in a lot of different areas, whether it be existing or new products.
I agree. Yeah, I think what excites me a lot is like with Langmuir, easy thing to point out is like the MR1 mill that they have. That thing is game changing. Like absolutely nothing like it on the market. And then they're like, hey, hold on a second, hold my beer. Here's a Titan. Like they throw that Titan together and it's like that press brake. And it's just incredible the traction we've been able to find. And that's what excites me is we're bringing technology to the fingertips of people that otherwise didn't have that technology accessible. Like being able to put a plasma table in every garage or any school around the United States excites me. And being able to like bring technology forward. So it's like, when I first got into this industry, we were like at ShopSaver, we were like the most affordable machine out there. And every other machine was $250,000. And it's like, now you have CNC machines that are in everybody's home garages. Like you can afford to put them in there. And I use one to build race car parts. It's just fun to be able to do that, not have to go like do it by hand. Cause to be honest, I can't cut a circle by hand if I had to. Like I'm terrible at it, but like being able to cut a part and know that it's going to be right because the machine does it. Like that's what excites me. And especially as you said, like, I don't think this industry is close to maturing because when you look at the fact that like AI, look at what AI has done in the last 2 years. Like when ChatGPT came out, what was that? 2 years ago now?
Probably
roughly?
something like that. Yeah.
Right. Like how far that has blown up and where that's gone. And like, you just think about what that's going to do for software, the future of software and the ability to develop more and more with software and make it more accessible for the customers. And once you have the younger generation who has kind of grown up with the video game era and like to them computers are everything to them, they're not afraid of the software. They're not afraid, like the industries are only going to become more saturated with CNC machines. Like you have to. You just can't keep up with the workflow, I think, in today's world without adopting CNC automation.
Yeah, it's like you said. It makes sense for sure. But there's also learning curves and levels of comfort that people have to get with the technology. And you have the ability to do that, but as you put it, as let's say things like AI and software continue to advance, that learning curve should be a lot shorter,
right?
And a lot easier for folks that may be a little bit intimidated by these technologies. So that makes it all the more promising.
I just think about like the early adopters of like the smartphones. Right? Those who, when the smartphone came out, like I remember hearing people all the time be like, oh, that's not going to last. That doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. Like you remember how the people that were the naysayers, of that stuff. And now everybody has a smartphone. Like that's just normal. And it's like the people who were early adopters of it ended up reaping the reward of it. And so it's like, I've always said like, you're still in the early enough stages of CNC automation that like the companies who are, putting it in their businesses now and getting sophisticated with it now, are the ones that are going to, in 5-10 years, be the furthest along because they're going to be ready for the technology evolution. And as everything continues to become more and more accessible, their company is just going to accelerate at a much higher rate than the people that are, now is the time to get in. I should buy one. You're behind.
It's like what we talked about all along, though, right? Like, be ahead of the curve,
right?
And be proactive instead of reactive,
right?
Get ahead of the game now, so that when it actually is, fully blown, that you're ready to go.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. So, no, like I said, I appreciate it, Shane. Obviously, I'm sure you're going to have a lot to say about all this fun stuff we're going to be doing here, but I'm going to jump into the next section here. Let's jump in to one of my favorite. The internet is broken. So, Shane, we talk about the internet a lot here because everybody's got the power to go on the internet and type stuff. And my favorite is that sometimes when you're browsing the internet, you see things and you're like, man, the internet is broken. Like, the fact that people can just jump out there and say whatever they want, whenever they want, without any like real repercussion.
Is this a new realization or?
No, it's just I decided to talk about it.
Okay. I kind of feel we've been there for some time.
We have, exactly. But I think like the problem is historically, like people just post what they want and then like everybody's just like, it's okay, whatever. So I just start calling people out on it. Like I think it's fun to like just call out like things that you're like, what's the point of that, right? And so my internet is broken comment of the week. Well, we post on YouTube a lot, right? And we get a lot of comments on there, and a lot of them are productive comments. But sometimes you just get a comment and you're like, you probably would have been better off just not commenting, you know? Like, so we got one yesterday, Memorial Day, okay? Memorial Day, I'm out to eat with my family. Like, we're eating dinner, me and my kids. We're just kind of, relaxing or whatever. And the comment that comes across my phone is, not impressed. That's all it says. So I'm like, what does that even mean? So I pull up the video and I start looking, and the video is a video of our machine cutting a base cabinet out. And it shows the machine cutting the whole cabinet in 5 minutes. And the comment was, not impressed. So for one, well, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry you're not impressed. But like, what is the point of that comment? Like, I don't understand the comment because like, there's no dialogue there. What do you want me to say to that? So I wrote back, that's unfortunate. And I wrote, we have other videos on our website if you want to check them out. I don't know what I can do to make this more.
What do you say?
Yeah, but it's like, I hate to not respond, right? But at the same token, I'm like, kind of a pointless comment. You're not really pointing me in the direction of a conversation. Like, I feel like you're probably just trying to stir the pot.
You should have said, be sure to listen to this week's podcast because we're going to discuss this comment.
I should have. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they listen. Hopefully they hear it. But I'm like, I'm just simply trying to show somebody a CNC machine doing something that you don't otherwise think about. Like, there's a lot of cabinet shops out there that it takes them an hour to cut a base cabinet.
Yep.
If you're doing it by hand. So to show you doing it in 5 minutes, I think is impressive in my opinion. Like, and again, I do this, but I've felt that it's something that I've heard a lot of feedback from customers over the years of, it's impressive how much time you can save by just automating. But then to like, the only comment you make is not impressed. Like, well, I don't know what else I could do to impress you on that one. It says cutting a CNC machine, cutting a cabinet in 5 minutes. And it cuts the cabinet in 5 minutes. I guess, what were you expecting from the video? Like, what would I have had to done to impress you?
They had to self-assemble or...
Yeah. Like, maybe that's what they want. Maybe they wanted that. Maybe the machine needed to put it together for them. I don't know. Like, so that goes back to the internet is broken, because I'm like, I saw that comment and I looked at my wife and she's like, what? And I'm like, I read it out loud and she goes, what does that even mean? I'm like, I don't know. It just means they're not impressed. So I don't know how to respond with it. So,
well, at least it didn't come from her.
Maybe it was. She's sitting next to me and she just writes not impressed on it. Oh, Amy, we need to talk about this. Was that you? No, it's yeah. So I don't know. That was my internet's broken comment of the week, because it just made me laugh. I'm like, at some point,
that one was simple yet effective for that segment.
Right. I was like, there's just nothing else I could say. So, yeah, moving on to the next section for the day, customer comments and questions. So question one, or comment one of this week was, last week's question was, would you rather have a long commute or a long day at work? So first off, before I answer this, I'm going to let you answer, Shane, because you weren't a part of last week's episode. So would you rather have a long commute or a long day at work, and why?
Does the commute count as part of my workday?
No.
I'd rather have a long day at work.
Long day at work. Why?
Productivity.
See, that's what it's funny that you said that, because that was the overwhelming answer. Like, overwhelmingly was long day at work. Like, a lot of the comments, the emails I got, everything was absolutely long day at work. And it all was related to productivity and the sense of like accomplishment, capturing their goals, getting paid. Was a bunch of them. People said, like, I get paid to be at work. I don't get paid to sit in traffic. So like, yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I think it's overwhelmingly, I'd rather work overtime and long days than to have to like, okay, yeah, I only work 6 or 7 hours a day, but I have to commute for 2 hours. I couldn't do it. I'd rather not sit in the car for 2 hours.
I feel like I have a sort of off topic but fitting question for Shane that we talked about last week also.
Yeah.
What do you listen to on your drive to work?
I'm a 70s album rock guy, so mostly Eagles, Creedence.
I like it. I was kind of thinking, since he's a Chiefs fan, maybe he'd be like me and listen to Taylor Swift on the way to work. But apparently not.
I like what you did there. Now I remember. I was like, where is he going with this? That's right. We were talking about you listening to Taylor Swift's album on the way to work. That's funny. But I don't know. I just thought like I'd address it, because the comments were overwhelmingly yeah, let's be at work long days, like, which I love to hear. I mean, I think it doesn't surprise me because I think a lot of our listeners are business owners or in business for themselves, or, you know, they take a lot of pride in their job, you know, and I think that's the difference in like wanting to be at work, right? You take pride in what you do. Being there isn't work. Being there is part of that accomplishment. You feel like you're a bigger part in the business, you know, where I think if you asked a bunch of 16-year-olds, right? Like, hey, would you rather be at work long days or would you rather, you know, commute? They'd pick commute.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. They're going to bomb out to music the whole entire way. And they don't really have that sense of like wanting to be at the office. They don't care, you know,
They would rather spend $20 of gas to make $20.
right. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Drive
dude.
around drinking Mountain Dew and Casey's Pizza. That's
Yep.
what they do.
That's pretty much it. I remember those days.
Heck yeah.
Just driving around.
Up and down the same street
I was
for
just going to say
hours.
that. We drove up and down the road, the same road. I don't know
Yep.
what we were trying to accomplish, but we just drove up and down that road all day long. Like,
It's true.
I don't know if kids still do that. Do they do that, you think?
I would assume, but I guess I could be wrong.
You have kids that drive, right?
Yeah, they don't like to drive.
Really?
It's like they try to avoid it.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, like I did anything I could to get in my
That was
car.
the exact opposite. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went all the time.
My dad had to take the car away.
We would cruise. We cruise the square.
Yeah.
Last time I was in my hometown, we actually went to the square. I took my wife there. I said, "This is where I used to cruise." And
Yeah.
I said, "Let's see who's here." There was nobody there.
Really?
Nobody.
That's crazy.
So what was the square? Like the 4 left turns you made through your small town, or
It's the courthouse. Like the courthouse was the center. It was the courthouse was the center. You know, of the
sure.
town.
Yeah.
And when I growing up, that's where everybody went. They just drove around in
That's
circles.
crazy. That's crazy.
Which is pretty useless, but
Yeah, and that's what we did. Like, and I grew up, you know, relatively close to here, and yeah, we just drove down one road, the whole entire. Like, it was the same road. And you would drive down the road till you got to the next town, then you just do a U-turn at the light, come all the way back to the next town. Like, and you would. That's what you did.
you should have had a courthouse.
Yeah.
Should have had a courthouse.
The town I grew up in just had one main street. We went start at the river and go 35 blocks through town or whatever it was. Turn around and go back the same stretch of road. It wasn't
crazy.
It wasn't even a different town. It was through the same town all the time. And then you'd stop at the M&H gas station to get more gas and maybe get some roasted chicken to eat in the car and go back.
We used to
doing it
stop at
again.
McDonald's. McDonald's
Yeah.
was right off that road. You'd pull in McDonald's and everybody be eating chicken nuggets and French fries in the car as you're cruising up and down the road.
What a waste of time.
Just a
Thinking
waste of
back,
time.
It's just like,
Yeah.
we had nothing better to do with our time but that.
Think about the miles I put on the vehicle just driving in a straight line over and over for nothing.
yeah.
I bet I put 10,000 miles on that car
sure.
doing that.
You have to get an oil change every week.
Yeah. No, not every week.
You know,
I didn't put 10,000.
What did you cruise? What was the car?
I had an 89 Grand Prix.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was an 89 Grand Prix. I blew the motor up in it 3 months into owning it. My dad grounded me until I figured out how to put a motor in it. That's what got me into cars.
All right.
My dad was like, "You're going to figure this out." And I'm like, "Joke's on you. Now I'm going to be addicted to cars."
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. All these years later, I'm still wrecking them. It's going great. So question 2 or comment 2, proper operational setup. I had a customer ask, do I set my tool height first or my material zero first? And that's a good question because as you start to like think about setup, you know, people who don't know it, right? And so basically what is tool height? Tool height is the length of your tool, right? How long is the cutter that you're working with? And then your material zero is essentially, are you setting the zero to be the surface of your material or the bottom of your material? Now, that decision in itself is its own topic, but you can choose either one of them based on your preference. And a lot of people choose the spoil board or the top of the machine as their zero, and then they work up. So that way, when they say cut a 1/4 inch dado, it's actually always a 1/4 inch, dado. But nevertheless, the answer to the question though is, do I set my tool height first or my material zero? And it's always set your tool height first because it has to know how tall the tool is before you can set a zero. So set your tool height and then set your material zero next. And that way, when you're cutting, if you break a bit, all you have to do is change the bit out and then reset the tool zero, and you maintain that zero for the cutting height. So it allows you to go back to work in the middle of a project, or you can change bits in the middle of a project without losing your zero.
You know what just came to my mind?
What?
That episode of The Simpsons where Homer says, could you repeat the part about the stuff where you said all about the things? Because now I'm really confused.
Set your tool height before your Z0.
Fair enough.
That's the easy answer.
Noted.
Sorry. I went all nerd on you there.
It makes sense now, though.
cutting 1/4 inch ACM. For anybody who doesn't know what ACM is, it's aluminum composite material. Any words of wisdom? Cuts like butter. That's the answer. It cuts super easy. There's no worries with it. Use a O-flute in the appropriate diameter for your project. Obviously, the one thing to keep in mind with tooling, when you choose a bit, the diameter of the tool, 50% of it is the radius of your corners. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So if you have a 1/2 inch tool, you have a 1/4 inch radius in the corner. So just consider that. Use the tooling size appropriate with what you're trying to accomplish. So, but yeah, it cuts really well. ACM is a material that I actually enjoy cutting. It's a lot of fun to cut it. It turns out really great. A lot of people in the sign industry use that. Yeah, you can get it with there's different makeups of it, but aluminum composite is very popular.
There's a lot of really cool product photos in our router group of guys that have done some really, really cool stuff on aluminum.
Yeah, it's a fun material to work with. It's got a piece of really thin aluminum, and it's got a composite center core, and then another piece of aluminum, and it turns out really nice, holds up really well. So that's the answer to that question. And then one person asked me, we often refer to machine speeds and machine quickness, and what's the difference? So the difference is machine speed is the actual how far or how fast does it traverse at, meaning 1,200 inches a minute, 2,000 inches a minute, 3,000 inches a minute. That is the actual machine's moving speed. Machine quickness is referring to how fast does it get up to that speed. So when it's accelerating or decelerating is your quickness. So a lot of people will call it acceleration or deceleration, but that's what machine quickness means. So two machines can have the same speed, but they can appear different. And it's because of how fast they accelerate and decelerate.
Like running backs.
Like running backs. Exactly. It's just like running backs. I like to compare it to dump trucks. Because my pickup truck goes 70 miles an hour, and so does a dump truck. But my truck looks a lot faster than a dump truck because it takes a dump truck a little longer to get up to speed. So, but yeah, it's exactly, that's the difference in, like I said, a running back is some of them score more touchdowns because of their quickness, not because of their speed. They might not be the fastest running back, but they burst through the hole a lot faster. So
That's me.
That's you?
Not very quick, but can power through them.
So you're like a Jerome Bettis.
Exactly.
I wish we had a camera rolling right now so everybody could have seen your face when I called you Jerome Bettis. You looked like that was the greatest compliment of your life.
That was a great comparison. I like it.
I used to always joke around about how if you need 6 yards, he's going to get you 6 yards. If you need 3 yards, he's going to get you 6 yards. If you need 9 yards, he's going to get you 6 yards.
Yep. About right.
It's about right. So, yeah, I think I'm out of questions this week. Do you have any other questions this week? Did I miss anything?
No, I'm way too confused with more questions.
Shane, do you got any questions?
I think I'm good.
We got them? All right. Well, we're moving on then. Motivational quote of the week. Most stress comes from the way you respond, not how it truly is. So basically you have to adjust your attitude and change the way you look at things, and you'll see a change in your stress level. And I like that quote a lot. That one is the most stress comes from the way you respond, not how it truly is. And I think that's true. Like, people overwhelm themselves. They stress themselves out versus just changing their attitude. Like, I think stress a lot of times is the weight you put on the situation more than somebody else's weight they're putting on the situation.
Especially when it's sometimes not things that are worth stressing about, right?
Well, that's my thing.
Or
Is I
putting
think
energy into.
Yeah, I think naturally as humans, we all, and business owners specifically, that's why I like bringing this up, is because I think as business owners, you put more pressure on yourself than anybody else is putting on you. And the problem is, like, that stress is ultimately what drives you to be successful, right? Because you're always trying to be better. But like, sometimes you stress about things that take your focus away from the things that could use your attention in that moment and probably make you more successful. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the little things, the things that, as we used to joke around as kids, will this matter in 5 years, right? But I always, in a business sense, will this matter in 5 days? Those are the things you should be, thinking about. It's like, if it's going to matter, then we should focus on it, right?
Yeah, it's how you respond.
Right. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, is changing your attitude to, like, really respond more appropriately. Like, okay, it's okay that, an example of this, and hopefully business owners that are listening are thinking of this, is when you have employees that don't show up one day, right? I think a lot of business owners, they stress themselves out over it. You can't control that today. Like, yeah, your employee's not there today. Like, they called in sick, they're out, whatever happened. It's a lot of stress they put on themselves that day. But in 5 days, if that person isn't, if that person's here, like, it's not going to matter. So, like, stressing, just get through the day. They're sick. Things happen, and I think sometimes people overreact. And I'll be honest, I'm one of those people that I've had to get better at that over my, last 10 years of doing this, is that I used to get really stressed out when somebody like took a day off or somebody was out sick, and it was like, oh, how are we going to get this done? Like, it's going to affect us. And like, I've learned to just hunker down that day. There's enough good people around us, and especially we're fortunate enough here at Shop Saver, the culture is second to none. And so there's always somebody willing to step up and help out. And so it's like, don't get stressed about it. Just find the solution to get through today. And if it becomes a persistent problem, then you come up with a game plan for the resolution, right? But like, stressing yourself out, and then the problem is you defocus your day because you're so worried about Nick not being here, right? That now you don't get to do anything you were supposed to do. And so now your business gets hurt because
productivity.
Yeah, you just defocus the entire day. And then the problem is then you run around in that bad mood. And we've all worked for somebody who's had the bad mood, like a boss that is just not fun to be around. And the problem is, as soon as that person's in that mood, it brings everybody else's mood around them down because you're afraid to have a good time, right? You're afraid to enjoy your day because you're afraid that's going to set that person off. So it's like, if you're listening to this, don't be that guy. Don't be the boss that does that. Like, don't let your mood get altered by situations that sometimes are just uncontrollable. It's not like you can, I've always joked around, like, you can't change when a kid gets sick, right? Sometimes a kid gets sick, you wake up and the kid's puking. The parents got to stay home. There's nothing they can do about it. Like, you getting worked up doesn't make that situation better for them either. Because trust me, I'm going to bet 9 out of 10 times they'd rather be at work too than at home dealing with a sick kid. So,
you stay home with your kids when they're sick?
No, heck no, I don't. No, I'm fortunate enough my wife does all that.
Just give them a can of soup and go.
Yeah, no, I'm fortunate. My wife, she's the caregiver of the family. She's very, very good at that stuff. I don't do sick kids very well. I can't do puke. If I see it, I run away. I'm like a child. Like, I see it, I gotta run. I can't do it. My dog got into the garbage last week.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And he puked 7 times in the course of 24 hours. And he'd start puking, and then I'd start doing the, and I had to run away. And my wife's like, seriously? I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, nope, that's one thing I do not handle is puke. I can't do it. So yeah, I'd rather not be at home with sick kids puking.
Or a dog.
Or a dog puking. Nasty. You know what I want to know? I'm sorry to talk about puke on this thing, but why do dogs choose the most inconvenient spot to puke every time?
They're looking for attention.
Like, seriously, we have one carpeted room. The rest of it's hardwood floors. Guess where he pukes? The carpet.
It's comfortable to lay down on after.
He just goes to it. He's like, "Bleh," and then he walks away. Why did you puke in the carpet? Anywhere else would have been more convenient than there. Now we have a stain.
It's more presentable.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, Dad, look what I made a mess. Cool, thanks, dude. Yeah, and then he looks at you. He gives you that look like, sorry, didn't mean to. Yeah, you did. You walked over there and puked right at it. And you looked over your shoulder while you were doing it. Dang dog.
Good times.
So yeah. So anyways, yeah. Most stress comes from the way you respond. So I tried not to throw up on top of the throw up. That was my response. How do you guys feel about that? I guess any feedback on that? Stress and adding to it?
Or puking.
Or puking. Either one of them. I don't really care, to be honest.
They're both no good, but you can control one, you can't control the other.
You can have good stress.
I agree.
There's a certain amount of stress that can be good. It helps you focus. It's when you allow it to get in the way of actually focusing on what's important,
right? Or
focus on other things that you should be focusing on. I mean, it's a hard thing to manage.
I like that. That's a good point. There is good stress.
There is good stress.
You need some level of stress in your life. I feel like it challenges a person.
If you meet someone with no stress ever in their life,
yeah,
they're lying.
That's a problem.
They're lying. He says they're lying, instantly lying. No, I agree with you though. Like that, there's a level of stress that you have to have that actually drives a person, right? It challenges you to like, is that going to be a problem? I should think about that. Versus like, yeah, well, it'll figure itself out.
It needs to be front of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like that. Nick, he's killing it this week.
He's like the smartest guy in the room.
He is definitely the smartest guy in the room.
It's a very small room.
All right, so moving on to the audience question of the week. When you research a new product, where do you first go to learn what solution exists? So maybe you have a problem, and you're trying to solve it, or maybe you're trying to learn more about ways to do something in your business or your home. Where do you go first, like to solve your problem?
Their website.
Their website. How do you go to their website? You don't know if they exist. How do you go, like, when you're searching for a new product?
Okay, I thought you meant when you're going to buy something new. I totally misunderstood.
So is this a product you've already identified?
Just in general, like, yeah, if you're searching for a new product, you're like, the problem, you've identified the problem, but you need to find the solution.
Shopsaber.com.
You go out to
Shopsaber.com.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, just go there right away. If they don't have the answer, then you move on.
Yes.
Honest answer for me, when I've identified a problem and I know I need something, I go to Amazon. I don't know why. I always go to Amazon and I type in the issue.
It's because they'll have it.
Like, they always have something, right? And so, as an example, my lawnmower. I have a 0-turn lawnmower that I inherited with the house that I bought. Well, if anybody knows about buying a house and when you inherit something with the house, it's usually because they don't want it anymore. It's usually a piece of crap. So said lawnmower was left in the garage as part of it was very clearly written it would be left. It wasn't like they just abandoned it. But I was like, oh yeah, cool. I'm going to have a lawnmower. I don't have to worry about it. This is years ago, for the record. But the lawnmower's always been kind of a pile of junk. Well, finally the wheel broke off. Like, you know how the deck has wheels on it? They had janky wheels on it. They weren't very good. The wheel finally broke off this last week, like 2 weeks ago, when I was making a sweet, donut in the yard, which...
At least you didn't blame your wife for breaking it this time.
She broke it the last time, for the record. She broke it. That was not me blaming it. That was the fact. Facts were facts. I had to drag it out of the yard when she was sitting on it. So she broke the lawnmower. So anyways, which, by the way, she's not driven it since, because apparently after you break it one time, it's no longer your deal. So, maybe that means I don't have to mow anymore. I broke the wheel, so I'm done.
Let the kids drive it.
Yeah, the kids turn. Actually, Caden really wants to.
What could go wrong?
He's 9. I don't think that's a good idea. So anyway, I do one of those sweet, like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you're clipping along and then you decide to do the 180 reverse turn. And you're like, coming back at you.
Yep.
Well, I did that and then the wheel broke off on the deck. Went flying. I'm like, well, that's inconvenient. Now we're digging into the yard every time I turn. So I had to turn. I could only take right turns at that time because if I took lefts, it dug in. So really inconvenient to have to take right turns.
Turn right?
No, it was really inconvenient. Actually, that might be why I hit the wall.
Could be.
I got used to turn right.
Lawnmower.
Lawnmower got me used to turn right. So anyway, so then I'm like, well, I don't know what I need. So my first search was like Amazon. And I was like, John Deere wheels, right? And that starts getting bazillion answers. The problem is I bought the wrong one the first time. So that's where I went. Like, I just went to Amazon. Like, I didn't go to John Deere's website, which probably would have made the most sense, right? It's a John Deere tractor. Go find John Deere parts. No, I went to Amazon. Like, I wonder if they got this on Prime. Like, that's where I went. So where do you go to, like, when you guys are looking for a new product? Where do you go look first? Like a household item.
I will Google the issue.
Will you?
Or the problem, and then instead of reading what the search results, I'll hit images. And then you'll get images related to whatever it is and I will flip through the images until I see there's a person who is solving that problem. I can understand, and I can apply that.
Nice. That's smart. I like that. What about you, Nick?
I mostly do what you do. I just go to Amazon and buy something new and don't try to fix it. It's just easier.
Yeah, but so that's scenario 1, right? But scenario 2 is like, what about something that you can't buy on Amazon, right? Like a piece of machinery.
Have you ever found something you can't buy on Amazon?
Oh yeah, I found a lot.
Really?
I owned a race car one time. Amazon doesn't sell a lot of race car stuff.
I almost bought a new lawnmower yesterday just for fun on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah.
A lawnmower on Amazon?
Yeah, like a battery operated one just for fun.
Which one?
I don't know. It was like lime green and had 2 batteries.
I know which one you're talking about. That's what I was wondering.
I've got one of those.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do they call them? The Eco or Echo?
Yeah,
right?
that's the one.
Yeah, the Echo.
That's the one. Yeah.
I bought an Echo leaf blower. It is the coolest thing I've ever owned.
I've got one too.
It's so cool.
Now I'm going to go buy it tonight. Because I can get away with it because it'll show up. Natalie will never know that I got a new lawnmower because she won't be paying attention.
She won't hear it because it's electric.
Yeah, so it's a win-win.
Very quiet.
Yeah. So you have the actual lawnmower.
I have push lawnmower, electric.
Yep.
And I have the leaf blower as well,
Really?
and the trimmer.
Do they all use the same battery?
Use the same battery.
Yeah, this
That's
thing
so
said
cool.
it works with like 45 different things. The thing said on Amazon.
It's fantastic.
It's like the Milwaukee of like lawn craft.
You can, yeah. I mean, those batteries, they just need to figure out how to run everything else in the house, and
Right.
I'm there.
Yeah, yours is the big brick one, right? With the green lights on the outside of it.
Yeah,
right?
it's got you click it in, and
Yeah.
I've had it now for 3 years, and it's worked really well.
Yeah, I've had my leaf
I
blower
don't have
for
a very
2.
big lawn either, though.
Yeah, I've had it for 2 though, and I use it to blow out the garage. I use it to like clean off all the clippings off the.
Well,
the
now
street.
now all my hesitation about buying this thing has been solved. I'm buying it tonight.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I don't have the lawnmower, obviously. I have the zero
It
turn.
would take you 4 days to mow.
It'd take me 4 days to mow that
and
yard.
about 86 batteries.
86 batteries. I'd have to have a charging station follow me.
It's a new invention: backpack battery charging station for people that want to mow their 2-acre yard.
Question for
with
you.
a push lawnmower.
Question for you. How come Tesla hasn't turned the roof into a charging pad?
Well, they have.
Why'd you say that out loud? You could have just had $1 billion idea come in your head, and now they know it.
I can't be the first person that came with that idea.
I mean, what do you mean? I don't understand.
Why don't they just, like, with a Tesla, you have to pull over and charge the battery?
Right?
Why doesn't the roof just charge the battery? You're using solar
Well,
system.
you can. You just plug it in at home.
no,
Yeah,
but
but
like while you're
while I'm
driving.
driving. Why don't they just make it so the roof is a solar
Oh.
panel and you're just clipping along the road, charging up?
Yeah, you'll get about 5 yards of a charge probably within.
Well, I understand that, but my point is like you're sitting at work all day long.
But what if you end
It
up?
could-
What if you end up 16 yards short of a charging station? If you had the solar panel, you would have made it.
I would have made it, but I'm 16 yards short. That's ridiculous. Oh, man. So there it is. So when you research a new product, I want to hear from you, the audience, this week. Where do you go first to directly learn about the solutions that exist? Like I said, for me, it's Amazon. Nick, it's Amazon. Yours is Google Images. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what
I
people
think
say.
that shows the gap in generations. We're just like for the quick fix, and he wants to like research and do it the right way. We're just like, screw it. We're just going to take the easy way out.
I think you forgot
Right.
about the comment you made like 5 minutes ago. He's the smartest guy in the room. You and I are like, let's just replace this thing. He's
Yeah,
over here like, we
you're
can fix
right.
this.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he says CFO.
That's
He
fair.
fixes it. He makes it right. We're over here like, we're just going to screw it up.
I have a C in my job title as well.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Customer
I
relations.
don't think a guy who's fixing things with Google Images qualifies as,
Still counts.
brilliance.
That still counts.
I suppose.
I liked it.
I thought it was good.
I'm now going to use Google Images. I never even thought about that. Like, just go to the images section, and then when you find the thing that looks the coolest, like, click on that.
And then is there like a link to show you how to fix it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appendectomy. Do it.
What just happened?
I don't know what just happened.
Just, just, you got an appendectomy? Go to Google.
So you can watch on YouTube and give one to yourself?
I'm sure there's someone who's tried that.
I feel like
Impressive.
this is a disclaimer. Don't do that. I gotta say that right now. A disclaimer: we do not recommend this.
We can edit that out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to edit that out. Somebody edit it out. Where's the buttons? I don't have the buttons anymore. Yeah. So, anyways, that's our question of the week. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section on Facebook, wherever you follow us. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know where you do your research. So,
I was going to say, now people are rewinding the episode 5 minutes to get back to the question after all of our nonsense.
Yeah.
So they can remember what it was.
When you research a new product, where do you go first to directly learn about the solutions that exist? So there it is.
Perfect.
Final thoughts of the week. So final thoughts, Nick and Shane. My final thought is make sure you're not stressing yourself out, but keep some stress in your life. That way you keep moving forward. And obviously always remember the internet can be used for good. You don't need to go out and leave ridiculous comments. There's
Set- Set your material. No, set your tool height first.
I was waiting for you to mess it up. I was like,
Golly,
you
I'm still
almost got it
confused.
right.
Still confused.
Set your tool height first,
Tool height first.
and then your material zero.
Yes, that.
Yeah. Obviously, stay safe out there with all the weather going on. Just keep your eyes to the sky because it seems like it's been weird lately.
Anybody in and around our area has any like food and restaurant suggestions for the next 2.5 weeks? Shoot them my way. I'm going to need them because I'm not cooking for just myself at home.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. We'd like to hear some of those. I just like food, so you can recommend food to me anytime.
Right.
Big into eating.
I did stock up on some Quick Trip frozen pizzas because they're really good.
Quick Trip frozen
got a
pizzas
few
are
of them.
bomb.
I got a few of those in the
You
freezer.
ever had Quick Trip's frozen pizza?
Oh, yeah.
So awesome. Do you guys ever get the cookie dough there?
Wait, what?
A Quick Trip?
Yeah.
No, I just go to the store and get the, you get that block of cookie dough and it's serrated.
I know what you're talking about. Dude, at Quick Trip, they have it. It's in a container, and it's edible cookie dough, and they have them in like peanut butter and chocolate chip and like Monster, and it's meant for just eating. And I
love that.
I feel like I have something in this app here. Yeah, free cookie dough if you redeem 35 visits. I'm going to get some of that tonight.
to Quick Trip.
Yep, because I'm pretty sure I have over 200 visits on this app.
There we go.
I never use.
Go get some cookie dough.
Use cookie dough tonight.
It's bomb.
Thanks for the food recommendation for dinner tonight.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
That and you got to watch the Wolves play tonight.
I might skip watching the Wolves game in hopes that they win because I'm not watching.
Oh, going with reverse
psychology.
It
like
works. It does work.
Does it?
Yes.
Which
So there's 2 games a year that you don't watch the Chiefs, and that's when they
If the
lose?
Chiefs are losing, I leave the room, and invariably when I come back, they're winning. So I keep doing it.
Perfect.
I'm gonna have to leave the state of Minnesota for the Vikings to start winning. that's the only thing I heard there. I got to leave the state. Oh man. Yep. So Wolves play tonight. What? 7:30.
Sounds right. Yep.
Something like that. By the time you're hearing this, you're gonna know if we're sad or happy.
And Brandon,
Yeah.
Nick, just let me be the first to say, I am impressed.
Thanks. You hear that? He's impressed.
With what?
Well, and, you know,
The show?
Yes, of course. I mean,
What else is he impressed with? The Wolves?
I am impressed.
My hair? Your hair?
Yeah, my hair.
I
The way you dress?
I am impressed with the show. I mean, I just want to make sure I counteract that comment you got,
Thanks.
online. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. See, I see what
Well
you did there.
played. Yeah, that's good.
I knew he was going with it, but you're so caught up on your hair, apparently.
Well, I
I'm impressed with his
just
hair.
wanted to clarify out loud
I'm impressed with his hair.
and not just leave it open to interpretation.
I was
So it
okay
could've
with
been-
interpretation. Could have been anything. Maybe he's impressed with it all.
I am impressed with it all.
See?
It's actually been a lot of fun having you. It's like
Yeah.
having another person to kind of throw things at.
No, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, like I said, this is really what it's about for us, though, is like just finding ways to like bring light, to bring some, comedy to some, otherwise serious situations. When you think about the world and in today's world, especially, like there's a million reasons to be crabby and find things to be bummed out about. But it's like, there's a lot of good things going on out there still. Like there's still things to find the positive, especially in business. I'm excited about the direction, we're going in general, but also like the industry, just, business owners in general, like, watching people grow and the success they're creating using automation and the software. And it's really, your future is really in your own hands right now. If you want to get to that next level, it's really about putting in the work. And there's a lot of businesses out there that are going to play the poor me, poor my card, whenever they can. And it's somebody else's fault. But you know what? Just hunker down and get back at it and, find a way to improve on what you already are doing. That's the thing is find the efficiencies, right? It's something, Shane, that you and I talk about a lot is finding efficiencies in areas that otherwise, are probably just forgotten, right? You can't always grow by, the obvious ways, right? Everybody says sell more, right? Well, sometimes sales are sales, right? You're going to have ebbs and flows throughout the year, but as long as you take care of your business, and I think as the one thing I always remind shops is being efficient is one of the most underrated ways to save money. Is finding a way to use your time and your employees you have, especially like we said, we talk about stressing out because an employee doesn't show up. Invest in automation. Automation shows up every day. It's there. So it allows you to grow without having to find more people that are as good as the people you have. It allows you to take the next step without having to find the needle in the haystack.
I have a couple questions.
Like, fire away.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
Fail.
It's always blue.
Why is it blue?
Shop saber blue.
Shops are blue. It's always blue.
Chiefs.
Sorry. Blue. Always the right answer.
Peanut butter. Creamy or chunky?
Chunky.
Nice.
I like chunky peanut butter. It's pretty good.
What was the third one? Oh, yeah. Pineapple on pizza?
Absolutely not.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I got one for you. Gatorade
Oh, God.
or Powerade?
Here we go.
Neither.
Neither.
Wow.
I don't know how to take that.
That's pretty.
If you had to choose one.
Powerade.
There you go.
God, I can't handle it.
Wait,
There you go and redeem yourself.
LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Thank you.
Not even close.
Not even
Not
close.
even- not even
Yeah,
close.
Not even close.
Not even
That was an
close.
easy one. Yeah. I don't have any other ones right now. Nick put me on the spot. I forgot about this segment of the episode.
Do you think you could catch a football better than Kadarius Toney? I couldn't help it. I had to.
Oh,
That was pretty good.
it's a coin flip.
It's a coin flip, definitely. I'm gonna be honest. I put Caden in over him. Probably. I think Caden has a chance to catch better than him. So, no. Honestly, Shane, we appreciate you joining us.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a good time. But as always, we appreciate each and every one of you listeners listening to us every week talk about things that a lot of times don't matter, but hopefully you find some humor in it and you've had some fun with us. But again, we appreciate you tuning in every week to another episode of Talking Shop. And with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Nick.
I am Shane.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSaver.